Hello there, and welcome to the Fish Tank Barn. Today I want to talk to you about one of my favorite species, the Ameca Splendens, or butterfly splitfin. The colony that you're looking at on your screen I've had for over 5 years, and is the oldest colony of live bears that I have in my fish room. So let's go ahead and explore more about this fish and learn more about its care and breeding. The Ameca Splendens is native to the state of Jalisco in Mexico, where it's native to the Rio Teochitlan River, which is a tributary of the Rio Ameca. The IUCN classifies this fish as critically endangered, but I really couldn't find out a lot of information as to why. But based on the issues that other goodeid species are facing, I can hazard a guess that either pollution or the introduction of non-native species would probably be the culprits. This is one of the more popular goodeid species in the aquarium hobby, so thankfully, aquarium hobbyists have been able to preserve this fish. This fish gets to be a pretty decent size, topping out at about 4 inches for the females and 3 inches for the males. The Goodeid Working Group recommends a tank size of 250 liters, which is about 66 US gallons. But I think you can definitely keep them in a smaller tank, with the minimum being a 29 gallon, with a 40 gallon breeder being ideal. I maintained my current colony in a 40 breeder for quite a long time, and they did just fine. I found these fish to be quite hardy, and really do well with just some basic aquarium care requirements. I currently run my large colony in a 75 gallon, with just a couple of sponge filters and some plants, which has done an adequate job filtration-wise. These fish will accept a wide variety of foods, from flake, small pellets, live and frozen. I really have not found anything these fish will not eat. My main diet for these fish is primarily a mix of extreme krill and extreme spirulina flakes. One thing you will need to watch with these fish is temperature. These fish generally do prefer cooler water, below 75 degrees, but in my experience, I have found these fish to be a little bit more tolerant of high temperatures than some of the other goodeid species. These fish do like fairly hard water and a higher pH level. My fish room is currently running at a pH between 7.8 to 8.0. Due to their endangered nature, I would highly discourage you from keeping them with other fish. I've really not noticed a ton of aggression with these fish, not even any squabbling amongst the males, which you can find from goodeid species from time to time. If you really do want to keep them with another fish, you could possibly look at keeping them with rainbow fish if you're housing them in a 40 gallon tank or larger. You could also maybe try something like a bristlenose pleco, as long as you don't let the temperatures get too cold. I would avoid keeping these fish with other goodeid species to avoid possible hybridization. Sexing the Ameca Splendens is quite simple. Males will have a white outline on the back of their tail fins and are generally a little bit smaller than the females. Unlike the guppies, platies, and other passerulid live bears, the male goodeids do not have a gonopodium, but instead have a small notch in their anal fin, which they use to inseminate the females. While they do give birth to live young, the process is a little different than your passerulid live bears. The gestation period for Ameca Splendens is 60 days, and the females will give birth to fewer fry. Most of the time these fry number less than 10, but are larger than your typical passerulid fry. In this case, the Ameca Splendens fry are about 3/4 of an inch long. One interesting fact about goodeid reproduction is that the fry are attached to the mother with an umbilical cord type structure called a crophotienae. I found the Ameca Splendens to be good parents and not aggressive fry eaters. The fry will eat readily and will take up ground up flake food and any other appropriately sized foods. While not super easy to find, the Ameca Splendens is one of the more readily available species, so you should have some reasonable luck finding them. Since they produce so few fry at a time, you won't find these fish aquacultured in large numbers, and more than likely you won't find them at your big box retailer. You may find them at an LFS, depending on the local breeders in your area. If you're willing to receive shipped fish, you could scour Aquabid, and maybe you could find them there. You could also try your local fish club and the American Live Bear Association conventions, which have always been my go-to places to find rare live bears. Since the majority of goodeid species are endangered in the wild, be sure to keep all the location information so that you can pass this information on to fellow hobbyists. For example, here is all the location information for the Ameca Splendens that we've been looking at in this video. These fish are from the Rio Teochitlan in Jalisco, Mexico, and are part of the Robert Rush Miller collection from 1966. You'll also notice something called an ESU, which stands for Evolutionary Significant Unit, which is used to differentiate isolated populations with different genetic characteristics within one species. In this case, all of the Ameca Splendens belong to the designation AMESP1. For more information on ESUs, I would highly recommend checking out the Goodeid Working Group page. I hope you enjoyed learning today about one of my favorite goodeid species, the Ameca Splendens. If you want to learn more about the care of other goodeid species, I'll go ahead and put a card up here to a playlist where I talk about the care of some of the other goodeid species that I've kept in the past. I will also go ahead and put a link to the profile from the Goodeid Working Group, who specializes in the conservation of goodeid species. So with that, stay safe, stay fishy, and I'll catch you on the next video.